I want to talk to you about the moment everything hangs on for Goliath Ventures Inc. It's the Miami dinner. This is the event they've been pushing for months, and it's the one thing they're trying desperately to hold together. Because once the dinner falls apart, the illusion collapses with it. Over the past few days, the tone from their leadership has changed. No longer hearing promises or confident updates. Instead, we're hearing loyalty speeches, hashtags like Goliath Strong, the emotional message begging people not to walk away. That's not strength, that's fear. And there's a part they don't want you to think about. The payouts that are supposed to happen on the 15th and 18th of December. Yes, they've got a backlog from October, November, and now December. They're promising everything's back to normal, but after the dinner. These dates have been dangled in front of investors like lifelines. But if the organisation is struggling to hold people together for a dinner, how are they going to deliver millions in promised returns just days later? From where I'm standing, it looks like the final push, the last attempt to keep everything calm, keep everyone loyal, and keep everyone believing just long enough to get through the dinner and into those payout dates. But the cracks are already showing. People are pulling out. I'm getting the messages. People are telling me stories that I just, oh my goodness. The leaders are panicking, and the messages they are sending doesn't sound confident. It sounds like a group trying to survive one more week. This is the moment everything becomes clear, and we're going to break it down. I'm Danny De Heck. I'm an investigative journalist from New Zealand. I've been doing this is my 22nd blog that I've done a voiceover exposing Goliath Ventures Inc. And some of the information I'm getting, like these are photos of the Brotherhood. These are the boys that are meant to be the corporates behind Goliath Ventures Inc. All what they're doing is currently they're in Miami, smoking on cigars, spending your money, trying to keep it together. And for some reason, Tomo, a 12-year-old veteran police officer, is now an expert at running a corporation that can turn over $500 million. Some of the other funny images that we're seeing on the Instagrams is these are logos of Inspire is Tomo's company. We've got logos of other companies not associated with Goliath Ventures. And this is a telltale sign of a company that's trying to get their groupies together to stand strong. Goliath strong, hashtag. But the brotherhood that we're about to look at, is it Tomo's brotherhood, or has he adopted somebody else's brotherhood? Is he part of a group of men that don't want their faces seen because they think they're above the law? Is he really trying to pull this one off? So today's message that was posted on his Twitter account was absolutely too much for me to ignore. I've spent the morning thinking about how should I respond to this load of shit? And what message is he really sending out? And what has he made a fatal error with? Well, we'll break it down. But ironically, if you poke the bear, what happens? This is what happens. So right now, you'll be listening to this, Tomo, and I've left a link in the chat room where you can actually come on live and talk to me while I'm recording this live update on your messages. You don't need to block me. Please tell me that I'm in the Brotherhood. Surely I'm helping promote Goliath Ventures to the world You guys aren't doing anything wrong. You've got all the boxes ticked and you're doing everything just dandy. The 6 government agencies that are currently invested, Goliath Ventures Inc., they will be proud of the way that you're handling the matters at the moment as you're trying to keep it all together. Now, here's a picture of Tomo. Now, the Titanic's broken. It's sinking. Danny DeHeck is there with his finger telling him to get on the life raft. And all Tomo is doing is telling the other people that are still on the Titanic to keep it together, keep it loyal, stay with the brotherhood. What is this? Some like prison sort of talk that you've adopted? What are you, some sort of homie guy that's all like, oh, keep the brotherhood strong? We don't need to have, I don't know what you're trying to do. This message that you've sent out is a joke. We live in an era where we don't live by the brotherhood. You can't run a company on brotherhood. What the heck is going on? But we have broken this entire message of his down, and we're actually going to expose what really is going on. So let's get into it. Let me get myself in order. I'm going to try reading it because I watched myself the other day, as you do, and I thought I didn't do too bad a job. But when I get stuck, I'm going to use my computer to read the messages. I'm dyslexic and I do find it hard to read the stuff, not only because of the words I'm reading, but because of what it actually means. Goliath Ventures has shut payments down. They are running what we've heard, and we can't verify, a $5 million dinner. And they're running it in Wyoming. Now, we don't believe it's costing them $5 million. We hope the hotel has been paid in advance, even though they were doing an audit where all the money was frozen. And since October, November, and now December, no one has been paid. Matt Burke, you might have seen my video I released last night. Matt Burke was telling everyone that they have 115% of investors' money safe at all times. That means that every single person that has invested, mortgaged their house, taken out all their savings and put it into Goliath could literally ask for their money back at any time, and get that money back and not have any hassles, because they claim that all your money is secure. They don't tell you where. Now, I personally have shut down one of their bank accounts and another bank. So there's 2 Bank of America accounts, and they used to be of JP Morgan, and then they moved to another bank, the Bank of America, the second biggest bank in America. And because of the growth of the company, they had to move to another mystery bank just recently. But the truth of the story is, Danny DeHeck, yes, me, has actually shut down one of their bank accounts, and the Bank of America said that this bank account had $100 million worth of transactions in it. So it wasn't their main account that we've already shut down, but they're telling you that the only problem they've got with the company is the fact that the auditor, get this, has closed down all withdrawals. And they're working diligently with the auditor, who's a mystery person, to get things going again. However, Christopher, where's Chris? No one knows, but we have heard rumours he's in Florida and he's been out to his local nightclub again. But he's nowhere. He's not addressing the nation. Crypto's crashing at $380 billion in a day, the biggest crash ever happened in crypto. A company that is built on crypto mining, pancake swaps, what do they call that? Liquidity pools, and also the other one was Bitcoin Technologies. A company that is built on crypto hasn't been affected by the crash of crypto at all, because they're not running anything to do with crypto. There's no proof of it. But what they actually are doing is they are actually running a Ponzi scheme. They're using new investors' money to pay the old investors. And mathematically, it doesn't sustain itself. So all these Ponzi schemes and scams that I go after, they fall over. It's just a timing thing. Now, recently, we have found a lot of Canadians have been promoting Goliath Ventures. So if you're in Canada and someone's pitching you this, we have heard of whole families who have invested in Goliath Ventures. We've heard of 70-year-old people taking out their retirement money and putting it into Goliath Ventures. They are using that money to pay the old investors to keep the illusion alive. So when we see things like Tomo putting out messages of stay with the brotherhood, we know that the Titanic is sinking. They have stopped payments for the last 2.5, 3 months, and there's no evidence that they're going to pay anyone on the 15th and 18th. Now, we're also getting mixed reports. People that are inside the circle of friends have not missed out on any payments. We've also heard that people that have threatened to go to the FBI have been receiving their payments. Why are you hanging on to hope? Are you really desperately looking forward to the 15th and 18th of December, hoping that you're going to get some of your own money, if there's any left, drip-fed back to you? You need to go to the FBI, Homeland Security, the USSS, any government agency, and tell them you've been scammed and ask for your money back. If you read your contract, it doesn't even stand up. The company, Goliath Ventures Inc., check the records, closed down in Florida on the 3rd of September. So you've signed a contract with a company that has been shut down. Go to any financial advisor and tell them and ask them what that means. You have been scammed, whether you want to believe it or you're just going to turn a blind ear to it and go along because a friend of the family who recommended you into it, because that's how these Ponzi schemes grow. You need to get some independent advice, and you need to ask for your money back now. You may get it, because we heard that people are getting it. The squeaky door gets the oil. Get your money out, don't lose it. They've gone after firemen. They've gone after retirees' money. These people are disgusting. And the people I'm talking about are these men here. Every single one of these. We've got a fireman in here who served as a fireman for 20 years, and now he's going after firefighters and telling them to mortgage their houses and invest in Goliath Ventures. They're having a ball of a time. They're sitting around smoking cigars, going to dinners, flying around the world in Learjets, and they've just been to Mexico. They're all following Christopher around because he holds the purse strings. And it's absolutely disgusting. We've found them hanging around with Andrew Tate. Do a search on Andrew Tate. Do a search on the Alexandra brothers and just see who these people are hanging around with. It's disgusting, and I'm here to create as much awareness and disruption as possible. I will fight this to the death. I don't care. Even this morning, I received emails from their lawyers. They are throwing lawyers' letters at me left, right, and centre, and their lawyers, I can't wait until I do a blog about how disgusting their lawyers are. If you didn't know any better, you'd think their lawyers have invested in the company they're representing. And they are just disgusting. Hi, Oliver. Special hello to Oliver. Anyway, over the past 7 weeks, the public mask of Goliath Ventures has started to slip. Promoters are getting defensive. Investors are asking sharper questions. Good on you. And the internal messages are no longer lining up with the public show. Their lies have been exposed, not only by me, but you should read my inbox in the morning. The people that are reaching out to me are just absolutely amazing. Thank you for trusting me with your intel. But nothing reveals more about the true state of an organisation than a sudden shift of tone from its leadership, especially recent brotherhood messages posted by Tomo, now wrapped in hashtags. Goliath Strong. Hashtag Goliath Strong. Do a search on Instagram for Goliath Strong. Hashtag Goliath Strong. Because that's what it's really all about. It's not about investment. It's not about your retirement funds. It's all about being strong at the end with your brothers. Ask any investor how they feel about that. This post is not motivational. It is not inspirational. It is not even subtle. Not even subtle. That's right. It is a textbook sign of a failing, high-controlled operation, desperately trying to hold its people together while the structure underneath them collapses. All the timing of his messages, and the timing of his messages are everything. It lands on the eve of the Casino Royale dinner in Miami on the 12th of December. They're trying to keep it together, just as people inside Goliath are clearly having second thoughts about showing up. Are you still going to the dinner? You should see what I've got installed for the dinner. I challenge you. Do you think you can go along and associate with a whole bunch of scammers and it not rub off? How much? Oh, look, it's all in my post. Before we break down what this really means from the organisation for insiders and anyone still thinking about attending the dinner, here's Tomo's full message exactly as he posted. So if you're wondering where it was posted, somebody just messaged me before we went live. I've actually added a link to the post, and that's where I found out that Tomo's just banned me for some reason. Don't know why. Anyway, brotherhood is bigger than any organisation, title, religion, or creed. That's really ancient, isn't it? It's a bond forged in loyalty, tested in adversity, and proven when the pressure hits. What pressure are you talking about? You're running a bloody dinner. Okay. True brothers stand shoulder to shoulder when things are dark. What the hell? I thought this was the time of your life. I thought you're riding the beast. You're taking the money home. This isn't dark. You should be having a time of your life. This is it. They protect each other. Okay. They speak truth to each other. Oh, why start speaking the truth now? Oh, sorry. I should just read it. They honor the code. What fucking code? What code? Even when it's inconvenient. Even when no one is watching. Because brotherhood is calmed. Brotherhood isn't calmed? It's demonstrated. Okay, you got to demonstrate your brotherhood. And at the moment, a man turns his back on those who stood for him. He reveals his character with absolute clarity. Disloyalty doesn't break trust. It exposes weakness, insecurity, and a lack of honor. Honor! Honor! Those who abandon their brothers remove themselves from the circle of wolves. No anger, no drama, just natural consequences for isolating the code. Isolating? Insulating? Is that isolating?
Violating.
Violating the code. A true brother shows up. A true brother stands firm. A true brother doesn't disappear when things get difficult. You're running a bloody dinner, for God's sake. What the hell's going on, Tomo? And if a man can't do that, he was never a brother in the first place. Oh my God, are you guys all in prison? Well, have you guys all been in prison? This sounds like prisoner talk to me. It's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. Really? You build a company on brotherhood. Good on you, Tomo. Oh my God, that means you don't like women. That may explain some of the interesting searches that we've found on your computer. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to see that. Stop searching for that sort of kinky stuff on your computer, Tomo. We all know what you like looking at. There you go. Would have made somebody proud. I mentioned something I said I wouldn't. When a Ponzi scheme stops talking about business and starts talking about brotherhood, one of the clearest indicators that the scheme is entering the end stages, and when the language shifts always from business into emotion, where leaders stop giving updates and stop explaining numbers and stop answering basic questions, they always pivot into identity-based messaging. This lines up with... I've got to read some of this. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be good.
This line from Tomo captures that shift perfectly.
All right. A true brother doesn't disappear when things get difficult. What the hell do you mean by that? How can anyone read that with any other words? This is not how legitimate organisations talk. This is how people talk when the money is drying up. The story no longer makes sense, and they need to remain recruits to hold the line. If they need to, I'm going to get that right.
and they need the remaining recruits to hold the line.
Hold the line! Hold the line! Don't back down! We've got this! Goliath Ventures is no longer selling a business opportunity. They're selling loyalty! Loyalty at 3% per month. Give us $100,000 and we'll give you $3,000 of your money back every month, as long as we don't have any loyalty problems. And loyalty is the last thing a failing scheme demands before they crash. That is true. The code! When the company starts sounding like a gang, one of the most telling phrases in Tomo's post was, they honour the code. Even when it's, is it inconvenient?
Inconvenient.
I don't like the use of that word, Tomo. Inconvenient. Is it inconvenient? I don't want to be a brother today because it's inconvenient. You put that in. I don't think that was the best use of words. Maybe use ChatGPT to do your emotional rants in future. Even when no one is watching. Who's no one watching? Somebody sneak away. Oh, I'm going to sneak away from the brotherhood. There is no code in a legitimate financial organisation. Just letting you know, there are laws. There are compliance rules. There are audits, which we're still waiting for, contracts and regulations. The code is the language of a group that no longer wants its members thinking independently, especially when regulators, journalists and whistleblowers are circling, woo, 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 like the pack of wolves. We're coming after you guys. When an organisation frames obedience as honour and questioning as betrayal, it is not strong. It is already in crisis. Something wrong, Tomo. Tomo, are you trying to tell us something? Are you trying to let us know that everything's not so good in the hood? The brotherhood's starting to crack. One of the guys decided to drive away in his Lamborghini or his Ferrari or his Bentley, and he left the brotherhood. And all of a sudden, everything's collapsing around us. Why is Tomo talking and not Christopher Diego? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where's Christopher? I know he was in Dubai and then he was in Mexico and he's meant to be back in Florida. I know he's been going to London House for dinners, and he also went to some other fancy-nancy restaurant the other day. Living the dream with your money. But why is Christopher not fronting the farm? Is he getting dressed up like Father Christmas? Is Christopher trying to grow a beard so he looks like Father Christmas? Could be interesting. A critical question that needs to be asked to this. Where is Christopher Diego? Sorry, I always say that. If this was a healthy company, which is obviously not, the founder and owner of Goliath Ventures Inc. would be the one stepping forward and reassuring investors, explain what is happening in the front and front the big Miami event. Where are you, mate? Instead, he is, what's that word? Let's have a look at that word.
Conspicuously
silent. While Tomo, what's his last name?
Marjanovic.
Tomo Marjanovic. Hey, I got a Lloyd's letter the other day because I mispronounced a Māori's name. They said I was racist because I showed disrespect and I couldn't pronounce somebody's name. So I apologise to Tomo if I can't get your Marjanovic name right, but I'm not doing it intentionally. I just can't pronounce stuff. I'm dyslexic. You get away with from a lot of trouble when you can say that too. It's quite good. Okay, well, official title. So his official title is actually Director Partner Services. What the hell is a Director of Partner Services? I don't know. And now he's suddenly acting as a morale officer, the loyalty enforcer, and the spiritual spokesman for the group. This is a classic pattern in a collapsing scheme, and that's exactly what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Didn't hear it here first, I'm sure. When things become unstable, the founder retreats into the shadows, avoids making public statements, don't want to talk to anybody, or just keep doing newsletters once a month when the farm is getting into a panic, all the animals are going wild. Distance himself from emotional manipulation and allows, I can't even read that word and I wrote this blog.
Lieutenant
to be the public face of the crisis. You talk to them, Tomo. Tomo is that, what's his name? Is it? Lieutenant. He has been used by a, buffer.
Buffer.
A buffer. I like that. A desperate Oh, look, I'm just going to have to read this paragraph until I get my mojo back.
A disposable front man to keep the rank and file in line, while the real decision makers stay off camera.
Oh, it makes me laugh. You know, when you're watching those movies and the main cheese is in the trenches and he's telling all the guys to go over the stick their head up to see if the way's clear, and they get shot in the head. Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe they're putting Tomo out to dry, and this is the way of getting rid of him. That alone should terrify anyone still treating this as a normal business. Is this a normal business? Is it really? Do you think that's what, like if you went to a company who's done, what we believe, $500 million worth of investments for people, would you expect to see a bunch of guys who all come from backgrounds like firemen, policemen, I don't know who else they've got there. I think they just went after those groups, sitting around smoking cigars, or would you expect to see people, corporates? And what other business do you know that holds, $5 million dinners for their investors to give them the illusion it's right? I mean, don't you think that's a bit unusual? But forget everything I've researched and the Avengers have researched. Just forget all that and just think, is this, we've even done a blog about it, is this what you would expect to see from an investment company that claims that they can generate 8% return for Canadians, 4% return for people who invest over $500 million, or 3% return for people who invest under 500 million? I mean, that's a lot of money. And why do they have different investment rates? Well, because they're getting desperate. Yesterday or the day before's video, we told you that Canadians are getting offered 8% return. That's because they're drying up with money. They're using the same formula. They're going to charities. We wrote to a charity just yesterday who something about kids, cars for kids, that's meant to be in Florida. We wrote them a pretty stern email and we said, what's your involvement with Goliath Ventures? We don't know if there is an involvement, but we have heard that we should investigate you guys. They have no reply. But they go into those communities, that one's in Florida, not Canada, and they give to those charities so they can get in their networks. And that's what they do. So it's all about not what you know, it's who you know. The sudden push of Goliath Strong hashtag, a damage control hashtag, why would you say Goliath Strong? Why wouldn't you say Goliath Dinner? Dinner time! Alongside this brotherhood message, all the major promoters are starting to push the hashtag Goliath Strong on Instagram and other platforms. Imagine if you go to the dinner, everyone's going to be taking photos of you and implementing you in association with Goliath Ventures, and you're going to be everywhere on social media. For the rest of your life, you're going to be associated to one of the biggest Ponzi schemes and scams in America. This is not some organic expression of community spirit. It is a coordinated damage control. Hashtags like this appear only when moderate is collapsing. What's that word?
Morale is collapsing.
Morale is collapsing. The narrative is slipping. Deflections are accelerated. That doesn't sound right.
Defections are accelerating.
Oh, yes. So everything that they're doing wrong has now been magnifying glassed, been focused on. And leadership needs symbolic unity to replace actual confidence. They've lost the swing in their steps. That's what really happening. The choice of the word strong is especially revealing. The group that truly feel strong do not need to remind themselves of it. Hashtag does not communicate strength. It communicates fear. Fear of losing recruits. Fear of losing the story. Fear of losing control. Hashtag Goliath Strong is not evidence of resilience. It is an emergency branding exercise. Okay, another paragraph. Those who abandon their brothers are warning to everyone thinking of leaving. So that's what he said. Those abandoning their brothers. And the psychological pressure in this line is impossible to miss. Those who abandon their brothers remove themselves from the circle. Every time there's a Ponzi scheme out there and I go into a WhatsApp group and I ask questions, they kick me out. When I was in a religious cult, I actually got kicked out of the religious cult because I had premarital sex. It wasn't allowed, apparently. Oh, I knew that. But they kicked me out. And they did it out of love. Believe it or not. But that's what they do. They don't help you. They boot you out. So, if you abandon the brothers, they'll be removed from the circle. What circle are they talking about? The war room? The war room. Really, guys? Do you want to be kicked out of this? Is this your life? You want to be in an organisation, because this is who they're associating with, Andrew Tate, and you want to be with the circle of brotherhoods that all blur their faces out, who think they're above the law. This is a classic isolation. I can't even read that word. Rhetoric. In one sentence, Tomo threatens social exclusion, labels anyone who leaves a traitor, frames departure as self-inflicted punishment, discourages people from speaking out, reinforces group identity about shame and loyalty. This is not inspiration. This is behavior control, and it tells us something very straightforward. People inside the organisation have already started to walk away. So why would people start to walk away from a company that is making so much money for people? Why would that be? Think about that. Who is he talking about? The whistleblowers and the walkaways. So who is he talking about? We'd like to know. Who's walked away? Who would like to be interviewed by Danny DeHeck? Who would like to come on my show and tell me why they walked away? We're on your side there. We're not going to condemn anybody who's finally had enough. Honestly, the people that have been given us information, they tell us that the people that they are talking to know it's a scam. This isn't some people that think it's real and true and genuine. They know it's a scam. These guys that you see in this picture, they know it's a scam. They are doing the burn of the rocket, so to speak. They are taking as much money from you to set themselves up. Christopher has already been going to Dubai. He's got 2 houses and a black Ferrari. Spent $1 million on his girlfriend in the last 12 months. Bought 5 houses for investments. They're spending the money trying to secure their assets as much as they can. $4 million worth of cars. He's able to blow 6 figures on a night in the town, shouting everyone drinks. He went to Mexico. All the boys followed him around because he's got the purse string. Are these real men? Are these the men that you want to associate with? These guys aren't anyone special. You've got people that had regular jobs who have now decided to get in bed with Christopher Diego. Now, Christopher Del Argo, is just a puppet on a string. He's working for cartel people out of Dubai. A Ponzi scheme called My Liquidity Partners was the first scheme to be taken down as a Ponzi scheme. SEC. Do a search on My Liquidity Partners. His partners, Nick, his partner in this, is associated with the downfall of the last Ponzi scheme. Christopher used to work in In-N-Out Burger. He got fired. Then he associated himself with 2 guys in Dubai. I believe, that they're working for cartel networks. Christopher had a shit life, gone through a terrible divorce. He's still trying to get divorced. He had 8 girlfriends in the last 18 months, 2 years. We've heard that he's associating and doing terrible things. We've reached out to his current girlfriend's mother, who's a therapist, and said that it might be a good time to do a welfare check on her. We've reached out to her sister, also stressing this. Now, if somebody reached out to me, I don't have any kids, I have a dog, and said that someone in my family could potentially be getting abused, I would reach back to that person. These people don't. They would rather do their own investigation, which is okay. But we have 130 people in our persons of interest list. These aren't people who are whistleblowers. They're on a different list. So we've probably got over 200 people who are associated with this scam. They claim there's 1,500 people who are associated with Goliath Ventures. We'll find all of you. So if you want to help us with our investigation, we're still taking intel from people. 6 different government agencies are watching these guys. How do you know that Christopher's not going to get arrested on his way to the gala event? How do you know that's not going to happen? Imagine that. What a perfect opportunity to send out a message to people who are wasting investors' money. Christopher gets arrested at the event. Everyone's there in one place before they leave to Dubai. Christopher is already booked to go to Dubai on the 18th of December. We follow flight logs and airplanes that he travels on. We know what we're talking about. Why are you going to let a guy who claims he's going to pay out dividends not let you withdraw your principal over someone who's been investing in this for so long? So, who has walked away? Are you watching this? Are you one of the people that's been kicked out of the circle? Put the wagons in a circle. Don't you worry, little lady. We'll fix your wagon. That's my John Wayne impersonation. Tomo repeats repeated references to disloyalty, weakness, and men who turn their back are not aimed at critics watching from the outside. They are aimed squarely at insiders. So that's the most alarming thing about this message that he's had. He's not talking about people like me. They've got problems from the inside, which is the real shocking part of all this. So there's problem in the inner circles. Most likely he's talking about internal team members who have seen the real numbers and don't like what they are seeing. Top recruiters who have stopped bringing in fresh money, starving the scheme from new capital. Maybe they're putting the pressure on. Now think about this. They offered people 3% return and now they're offering people 8% return. That's unheard of. No investment opportunity can do that. That's what they're doing in Canada. 8% return. Why would they do that? Because they know that people can't help themselves. A friend of mine invested, he's getting dividends, 8% return, unheard of. Oh, it's too good to be true, but I'll ignore that and one guy put $250,000 down. 24 hours later, he found my videos and then he was trying to get his money out. We froze the Bank of America's account that money went into because he gave us the timestamp. Thank you. Wouldn't tell us the bank account number. No, he made me do the hard yards, but we got there because we've got a team of people fighting this. We're trying to help you guys. Early whistleblowers who have raised concern, refused to attend events, or quietly warned by friends and family. This type of scheme destroys family and friends. Don't let it happen. Friendships are hard to come by. He writes, and the moment a man turns his back on those who stood for him, he reveals his character with absolute clarity. That's Tomo, one of the leaders of Goliath Ventures, sending a message. Did you get it? Did I help you deliver your message, Tomo? We know some of you are leaving. We know some of you are leaving. We are going to smear you before you speak. That's telltale sign. That's what he's saying. We know that some of you are leaving. We're going to smear you before you speak. This is not about brotherhood at all. You wouldn't treat a brother like that through good times and bad times. It's about containment. The shift. Go to the Freds. Just walk into, go to Homeland Security in New Jersey, knock on their door and say, I'm from Goliath Ventures. I promise you nothing will happen to you. If you want to spill the beans and you've had enough, get yourself a chartered flight, go to New Jersey and go and reach out to Homeland Security. They're the head of this part of the investigation. Go do it. Go on. Save yourself, save your family, and get some honour, some real honour. Don't sit there with your hands under your ass and do nothing. The shift from confidence to panic, and this is the part that gets me, comparing Goliath's earlier public messaging, flashy events, luxury backdrops, big claims about financial freedom, with what we are seeing now, disloyalty doesn't just break trust, it exposes weakness, insecurity, and a lack of honour. So what happened to the passive income we're looking for? A legitimate company does not need to call people weak or insecure for stepping back. If you have had enough, step out. You don't need to be criticised by some ex-policeman that obviously lifts too much iron. A legitimate company does not imply that leaving the organisation reveals a lack of honour. Only a collapsing structure behaves this way. This is not strength, it is desperation, written with emotional language. When things get dark, what the hell? What Tomo accidentally reveals by saying that statement, one line in particular exposes more than Tomo probably intended. True brothers stand shoulder to shoulder when things are dark. What the hell are you talking about? When things are dark. What things are you talking about, Tomo? Give us an example. Is the event, have you not been able to pay for the venue? Can you not get the payouts out on the 15th and 18th of December? Come on. Tell us what you mean by getting dark. Did somebody turn the light out in the bathroom in your hotel? Did somebody kill your internet connection? If everything was fine, he would not be forecasting on darkness. If business was booming, he would not be invoking loyalty when the pressure hits. If an organisation was stable, he would not be warning about men who turn their backs. This line confirms what many investors have already reported privately. Things inside Goliath Ventures are not bright. Internal pressure is rising. I can hear it like this. That's a jug boiling. And leadership is bracing for the remaining followers, bracing the remaining followers for impact. Do not talk about darkness unless you know the lights are about. You do not talk about darkness unless you know the lights are about to go out. Now look at this photo. I'm so proud of this photo. It really did get a brilliant one. Look at him. The Titanic's going down. Everyone's in a panic. And Tomo's sending messages on Twitter. Twitter? What's Twitter? Yeah, Twitter. It's actually called X. That's what I was confused. So here I am, being the good Samaritan. Even though Tomo's a loser, I'm telling him to get on the life raft. And he's ignoring me. He's too busy telling the brothers to stay on the ship. He's ignoring all the warning signs. He wouldn't be talking about darkness unless it's over. And we've predicted this over already. Okay, so why this message appears to be the final stage of collapse. Every scam follows roughly the same emotional, is it trilogy?
Trajectory.
Trajectory. That's not a good word for a dyslexic person. Oh my good. I'm going to get them all read just in case I can't pronounce them all.
Exhilaration, confidence, tension, silence, blame, loyalty speeches, collapse.
Yeah, it's all the same. It's not the first rodeo for me. I've seen it many, many, many times. Normally they just shut the door and everyone tries to escape and you're wondering where your money went. Tomo's message places Goliath Ventures firmly in the second stage to last stage. Yes, we're going to have a dinner before the ship goes down. Remember, on the Titanic, they were still playing the music when the Titanic went down? Just saying. You only invoke brotherhood when the numbers stop adding up. You only invoke the code when people start asking questions. You only invoke traders when people begin leaving. You only invoke stand firm when the structure underneath you is failing. This is the last psychological lever they have left before things give away. Is that right? The last psychological?
Psychological lever.
Oh, I'm getting better at reading after 55 years, I forget. A very clear warning. Why attending the Wyoming dinner is a terrible idea. Think about this. You got to listen to this paragraph. Now, we're not trying to boycott. We even have rang up the caterers and tell them I have unusual dietary requirements. I seriously have some amazing people that tell me they're going to be there who aren't in the circle. And I'm hoping that I can get something together And I would love any intel. I'd love a real-time feed of anyone that may be able to video and broadcast at the dinner to me, and I can broadcast it live. Now, that would be a hoot. Even if you record something for 5 minutes, give it to me, and send it to me via Signal. To find Signal, we've got a WhatsApp group in this blog. If you're looking for the blog that I'm reading, it's in the description of the video you're watching. Please do reach out to me via all the social media on the top of my page. Let's get together. Give us a video. If you're going to the dinner and you want to have a bit of a help, then give us a video of the dinner. We'd love to see if you can do anything really cool. We want to see everybody that's there. We've heard there's meant to be 1,000 people attending this. Half of them would be partners, but all the people who are investors, we want to see them on camera. We want lots of photos because we want to build our person of interest list from 130 up to whatever it takes to make sure we link everybody together. So after that, why attending the Wyoming dinner is a terrible idea. Now we've come to the part that matters for anyone still planning to attend the dinner on the 12th of December in Wyoming. We thought they wouldn't run the dinner. We were hoping they wouldn't run the dinner, but it sounds like they're having struggles getting the dinner off the ground. So whether it goes smoothly or not, who knows? Whether they've paid for the dinner because the auditor froze all the accounts, who knows? But at the end of the day, would you really want to be hanging around those bastards? These men here who are smoking cigars, burning your money, they all drive Lamborghinis, Ferraris. Where do you think they got the money from? We've got Alex. He's not in that photo. He's a personal trainer of Chris's. And all of a sudden he goes and buys himself a $350,000 Lamborghini. Where did that money come from? Even at 3% return per month, where does that money come from? They get it because they recruit. Christopher has been buying houses for people. Things like that. You know, this is the truth of the matter. High risk, add phone, social media, camera. Okay, so I'm going to read this paragraph because it's quite chunky.
This event will gather Goliath leadership, top promoters and investors in a single room at the exact moment. The organization is under intense scrutiny. That alone makes it high risk. Add phones, social media, cameras and possible journalists or documentary crews, and you have a perfect storm.
Really? Do you want to risk it? I busted Hyperverse, $1.9 billion scam. Every Zoom meeting they were promoting it, we recorded it, we took everyone's names, we put them in the databases. Anybody that was ever investing in Hyperverse, Hyperfund, Hypercapital, Hypernation, Hypercosmos, Diversal, VidiLook 2, 3, 4, VAV, what's the other one we had? I've forgotten them all. But anyway, quite a few of them. Every single one of those people, they promote it in Zoom. We took down their name. And when you search for their people's names, it comes up on my website. Try it out one day. Absolutely incredible. Now, why can't I think of it? Stable Opinion, Stable Deo. Those are the other ones. So all those scams I just mentioned off were all part of a $1.9 billion scam. And has it stopped? No. They're still going today. The guy that runs it wants to sue me, I should say, for $300,000 because I managed to cause him a stroke, so he says. Even though we've got him on video, chain smoking. Yeah. This is what length these guys will do. They try to stop me legally. I don't care. Got nothing to lose. Stop me. Just my opinion. And that's what we're doing here today. We're telling you my opinion. All I'm saying to you, I don't care what you think of me. I'm just saying don't invest with these guys. And if you have, get your money back. And go start being entrepreneurial, put your money into a real business, buy a product, come up with a service and sell it to people, build up your clientele. Don't give your money over to some idiot who blows $100,000 on alcohol with his mates in a night. Don't do that. He's just blowing your money. Just because he's a nice guy, well, he has to be a nice guy, so his girlfriend says, don't do it. If you attend, you're exposing yourself to being photographed and filmed. Alongside, I bet they take everyone's phones off them and they go in there as part of the James Bond event experience. Alongside suspected Ponzi scheme. I don't know why ChatGPT put that in there. It's definitely a Ponzi scheme. You're going to be tagged in social media under Goliath Strong. So you want to be one of the guys that when you type in Goliath Strong into Instagram, your photo is going to pop up like an idiot that didn't listen to the warnings. The world will see it. Being publicly linked to a company showing the signs of collapse, that's great. Having your face, your name, your presence, including in future events, blogs, news, or legal. Now, imagine if a media crew turns up there and films everybody, and you are there in your pretty dress or your lovely suit, and then it's all over the news that one of the biggest Ponzi schemes and scams has fallen over in Florida by a New Zealand YouTuber who's exposed the hell out of them over the last 4 or 5 months. And you are in the photos there. For the rest of your life, you're going to go, how come you were there? Oh, I didn't think the YouTuber knew what he was talking about. Read my blogs. You might think you're just going to a nice dinner. In reality, you could be walking into an evidence-gathering opportunity. And Tomo's message strongly suggests that people inside Goliath Ventures already know this. That's why attendance appears to be wobbling and why he is now guilt-testing everyone with lines like, a true brother shows up, a true brother stands firm, a true brother doesn't disappear when things get difficult. What things are getting difficult? Read that again. Okay, I'll read it again. That's not an invitation, that's pressure. I'm going to read it again. A true brother shows up. A true brother stands firm. A true brother doesn't disappear when things get difficult. That's pressure. If you still choose to attend after understanding this, you are not just risking your money. You are risking your reputation, your future, and possibly your involvement in future investigations or clawback actions. If you think you're going to get away with it, you need to go and read one of my blogs about clawbacks. The real meaning behind Tomo's post, a translation. If we strip away the poetic wording and quote-friendly lines, Tomo's message can be translated into plain English like this. People are leaving. We're losing control. And we need to guilt you into staying and showing up. Okay. People are leaving. We're losing control. We need to guilt people into staying and showing up. That is the entire subtext. And it is one of the clearest signs yet that Goliath Ventures Inc. is entering final collapse. The Titanic is underwater. The billows are bursting. The water is rushing in, and we can still hear the music of the dinner. A company that needs loyalty is a company in trouble. Healthy organisations do not need brotherhood speeches to fill a dinner. They do not need a label doubts as betrayal. They do not need to tell you that your honour depends on your attendance. And they certainly do not need hashtags like Goliath Strong to convince themselves they are not falling apart. The moment an organisation tells you that your value is refined by how loyal you are, not by the facts in front of you, the game is over. Tomo's message is not a rallying cry, it's a confession. He's telling you like it really is. And Goliath Strong is not a show of power. It is the sound of a structure.
Straining
under its own weight. If there was ever a moment when Goliath Ventures Inc. exposed its true condition, this is it. In Tomo's words, on the eve of the dinner, that may well be remembered not as a celebration, but as the night the ship went down, the world was watching. Titanic. All right, so here we go. The warnings that you cannot ignore. This is basically part of my footer. If you are an investor in the scam, understand this clearly. Goliath Ventures behaves like a doomsday cult. The leaders are asking you to believe for just a little while longer. Let's see what happens on the 15th and 18th of December after you've still got rumbly stomach from all the food you've eaten. While he's spending money you saved and slaved for. Stop trusting Goliath Ventures lies. Get in touch with me. Contact your local FBI or the RCMP. If you don't know how to do that, reach out to me and I'll help you contact the law enforcement. Here's my WhatsApp group. You can click on the link, you can go to the URL, and you can also click on the big, nice green recovery. Now, we do have some lawyers that are circling, telling us they can help you with a lawsuit when you're trying to claw your money back, when you want Christopher to, sell his 5 houses he's bought in the last few weeks. Now, if you haven't been following me and you're thinking this is a crazy video and all of a sudden Danny woke up this morning and thought, I'm going to go after Goliath Ventures because I've got nothing else to do with my time. This is actually blog number 22 on one. It's actually not the most I've ever done. Previously in this series, so we talked about the contracts. Now, the contracts that people have signed are void because they basically closed down the company on the 3rd of September 2025. But if we look at those contracts, even the last line of one of those contracts states that if you want to know about the insurance where they claim that the investment is insured, you've got to reach out to them via email. So you've signed a contract that claims that everything's insured, which is unheard of in a high-risk investment, but they didn't put it in the contract that you signed, which is now worthless. So the very first video I did, we basically made the claim that the contract was like a sword and they're going to fall on their own swords because their contracts were shit. Then they had this compliance thing where they were telling people they were fully compliant. That was a load of rubbish. Matt Burks, which was actually a minister. We contacted the church that he was a part of and they scrubbed him from the website. And let's not forget about Piers Curry. I would strongly recommend you go and watch last night's video. It was the video that really exposed Goliath Ventures for what they were doing. When I first watched that video, it was breathtaking. 39 people had watched that video and it was on Vimeo. I couldn't remember that yesterday. And we managed to grab that video and we went through and we listened to the lies that they were telling people. In that video, which they've tried to remove off the internet, they told people that they were not compliant and they were hoping to get compliant. So you have invested in a company that isn't compliant with the legal laws of the land, as they say, and that is breathtaking. When you watch that video, go watch it if you haven't watched it already. Then they were aware of our presence and they were claiming that we were running a smear campaign, not because of any other reason, but they thought that we were jealous. Yes, they thought Danny DeHeck and the Avengers were jealous and we just didn't like anyone doing good business, so we thought we'd start doing a whole lot of YouTube videos and blogs about this company. They've even tried alleging that someone is funding me to do these videos. So if you want to support me and what I do, please do. I do need the money. I can't afford to do this day in, day out, even though I have for the last 4 months. I don't know how I'm surviving, but go to my website. Please click on support me. Your donations can be anonymous, and I do appreciate the support. But other than rumours claiming, they've even gone to the courts trying to ask for my ChatGPT search logs, naming phrases of people they think are actually feeding me information to stop people asking. It's absolutely crazy. No one's got my ChatGPT data, and if they did, they wouldn't find anything other than the truth. And that's what we're all about. The bookkeeper that's handling $500 million worth of money was Nadia Bringers. She actually works for Harry Samuels, who is responsible for registering over 500 companies. And everyone at the meeting that we just talked about on the video that was secret, they were told that they were no longer executives, they were business owners, and they needed to go out there and sign up, create their own company to run their customers through, which is absolutely amazing. Anyway, in that meeting, there was a lady called Nadia Bringers, who was a bookkeeper running a $500 million company. She closed her company down as well on the 2nd of September, even though on Harry Samuel's website, it claims that Nadia Bringers works for him. How's that work? Wouldn't you expect to see a large firm like Christopher Delgado have their own accounting firm in-house? And where are their offices, by the way? They've not even got any offices. They're working off a laptop. It's a scam. Wake up, people. The audit. Oh my goodness. They're claiming that everything got frozen in the audit just recently, but this isn't the first audit. Matt Burks, an independent auditor who owned a company called Black Block, was claiming to have done an audit. He's a minister. He does sermons on the stage. He was meant to be the independent auditor. He's got no experience that we can see. And remember, we have gone to Christopher and asked him all the questions and got crickets. Instead of getting answers to, like, if you're doing crypto mining, can you show us some photos of your crypto mining? We got lawyers' threats. Even got offered $150,000, which I'll mention in a few minutes. So then we started researching the people like Piers Curry and Matt Burke and see whether they had any FinCEN registration. Nothing. They have no qualifications to handle money. So here's $100,000. Well, we'll put it somewhere in a bank. JP Morgan, we'll put it in their bank. Bank of America, will put it in there. Oh, we're growing too quickly. Now we'll start taking money from mystery banks. We've shut down their bank accounts. What type of bank would allow a YouTuber to shut down their bank account? One that realizes that that money isn't clean. No AMA rules. That's what you really got to think about, guys. So anyway, we looked at we've done our research. Now, what happens when it collapses? One guy rang us up and he told us he was up on the deal by about $15,000. He offered me the $15,000. He said he didn't want it. And I said, well, why did you take it? Why didn't you just take out your principal? Because everyone that has taken out more money than they've put in will be subject to clawbacks. Now, I'm sorry, but the IRS ain't going to knock on your door and go, how much did you put in, Danny? And you're going to say, 100,000? And how much did you get out? 115,000. All right. Can you just give us a check for the 15,000? They're going to shut down your company. They're going to freeze your assets. They're going to do an audit that could take months. It would cripple you. However, if you go there and you've got screenshots and you show that you deposited this money into this bank account and you took this money out and it matches and you've got clear trail, I'm pretty sure they would take you for your word. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I a law-abiding, what do you call those? Well, I am a law-abiding, but, or am I, I don't know. I don't work for the IRS. I'm independent. I'm a journalist. Okay, securities questions. So if you were looking at those contracts that you signed after the company has shut down, are they void or are they still held up in a courtroom? If you shut down a company in Florida, like they did on the 3rd of September, are your contracts valid? The answer to that in a short set is no. Number 9, what a real investment company would look like. So we did a comparison against Goliath Ventures and a company that what you'd expect to see with a real company with the same investment portfolio. It's completely different than Goliath Ventures, reassure me. Stolen money and gifts, people that have been benefiting from Christopher spending money like it's water, what's going to happen to them? We've got photos. They've got Instagram. They might think they're going to get a pardon from Donald Trump. That's not going to happen, guys. Just because you paid $250,000 to go to the White House on Fentanyl Day to pledge $2 million to the fentanyl charity that Jackie Segal runs, Christopher. And then the next week, it's crypto week, and you're claiming that you're in the White House with Donald Trump and Kash Patel and the Speaker of the House, Michael Johnson. I'm a New Zealander. I'm not familiar with those names. And you've got selfies with people like Eric Trump. Doesn't mean he's going to pardon you. It could be a possibility. But the same week that we see these photos, we also see Christopher, Tomo, and another guy I can't remember on 3 cruise ships with Andrew Tate. Now, do your research. Do you want to associate with people like Andrew Tate, who run a war room where the people that are in this war room brotherhood thing, this alpha belief that they have to have, that men are superior? We've gone past this in history. I think females, men, brotherhood, do we have a sisterhood organisation set up in Goliath? What's going on? Do we really want to associate with people that run a thing called the war room? And here they are with their website look at them, all blurred out their faces, teaching, this is scaremonger techniques. Here they are, sitting here drinking, lighting cigars. Doesn't that look very similar to this photo? These guys sitting around smoking their cigars. I mean, what the hell is going on? Are we really living in that world now? Wake up, guys. So then I got sued. Apparently, they were trying to sue me from Florida. They don't have jurisdiction to do so. As I said, we still get emails from their lawyers, but they don't. We've put something to dismiss. What do they call that thing? Motion to dismiss, a 22-page document that says they don't have any jurisdiction, blah, blah, blah. But that's what their answers do. They don't want to answer my questions and prove that they're real and genuine. They just want to try to shut me up. Dirty tactics, how Goliath Ventures is abusing YouTube's system. They reported 3 of my videos for copyright strikes. Videos like this. They reported them as their own, and YouTube basically put my videos into hold for 15 days until I say I'm willing to defend my right as a journalist to produce my own content, and that's what's happened. 8 copyright strikes I've had in the last 8 weeks. All of them are gone, and this is the dirty tactics. 3 of those copyright strikes have come from Goliath Ventures. You can't go and do a copyright strike against my content unless you have a YouTube account, and you can prove that that's your own copyright. Then when you do that, you're lying. And they lied 3 times and had my material put on hold for 15 days until I said that's my content, and YouTube released it. So they've done that 3 times. That's showing you the dirty tactics. Crypto crash, $380 billion gone in one day. $380 billion gone in one day. Now, did that affect Goliath Ventures? No. In fact, he said that he was going to hold a members meeting. What do they call it? Investors meeting. It was a webinar that was going to last for 45 minutes. It lasts for 12 minutes. 12 minutes in and out. Everything's good. Don't worry, guys. We've got it all sussed. All your money secure. Believe us, trust us, pray, hope, whatever you want. Don't worry about us, guys. Even though we're a crypto-based company, and crypto died in one day and lost $380 billion, they had no concerns. Everything's okay. That's because they're running a Ponzi scheme. Right, I already talked about the motion to dismiss. Now, all these blogs that I'm showing you, you can go into the description of the video you're watching right now. You can click on the blog that I'm reading, and you can go and research each of those blogs. Each of those blogs have court documents, PDF files, and everything I'm saying is done with open source intelligence. We have been given a ton of information. So we filed a 22-page motion to dismiss, and we also received a $150,000 bribe. So we've had people offer me in person to take $150,000 to remove my videos and write a stupid reply to say I'm sorry, and I was getting fed information from whoever it was. And if I did that, somebody would have given me $150,000 from Goliath Ventures. What type of company would offer a reporter a bribe of $150,000 US, which is a lot of money for me, if I took my videos down? Is that a legitimate company? Right. Whistleblowers or opportunists. We had one person ring us up, and they wanted to make sure that they were covered. They wanted to know about the investigation because they had withdrawn their money and they're hoping they could sneak away. So that didn't sit well with me. So we did a whole blog about the opportunist, not the whistleblower. He come to us as a whistleblower. Just because you've told us that you've invested doesn't mean you're a whistleblower. If you want to be a whistleblower, in that article, we ask you for certain things. For example, if you want to tell us that you signed up, we're going to say to you, who was your sponsor? We want to know who your sponsors are. We want a copy of your contracts. That's a whistleblower. We want names of people that you know have invested. Because we're building our persons of interest list, which I won't show you today. I haven't shown anyone for a while because it's getting quite out of control. But we've got extensive databases on everybody that we've seen. Now, if you're going to go to this dinner and you're going to be tagged in people's Instagrams, we will find you. We will build you into our persons of interest database. If you come to us with information, we will protect your anonymous. We will keep you anonymous. Banking breakdown. Here they were telling us, and we've got the documents and the newsletter, that the Bank of America couldn't keep up with the growth of Goliath Ventures. So they've moved to a mysterious bank that no one knows, which we think we do know the name of. And this is what they have told people. So the second biggest bank in America can't handle the growth of Goliath. But the truth of the matter is we shut down their main bank account originally. And just about 8 days ago, we actually managed to shut down bank account number 2. It had over $100 million worth of transactions in it. The bank was very grateful. Hopefully the person that came forward to us and gave us the pay slip, the transaction slip without the bank account number, is going to get their money back. We can help you get your money back if you cry wolf now. Don't sit here waiting for it all to collapse, because it will just be another 5-year thing. If you go and look up Hyperverse, if you go to Behind MLM, you can read about Bitcoin Rodney, who's incarcerated. He was trying to sell his vehicles to government agencies, so they told me. He's now claiming that innocence. And he's also claiming how much money he didn't really have. He was claiming he was a multi-billionaire, zillionaire, and now it turns out that the $7.5 million that he made from this hyperverse is all the money he made. So a lot of these guys that are claiming they're super wealthy people are living on a shoestring, hoping that they're going to get 10 times whatever they're worth now. But this Ponzi scheme is up, so you're going to lose. So don't listen to the hype of how rich Christopher thinks he is. Right, so then Stephen Davis, which was a bit of a laugh because Stephen Davis was it was a nice blog, and I did this yesterday. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself for those regulars who watch my channel. The chat room's very quiet today, but that's okay. But in here you've got me sitting here looking like Stephen Davis in front of his cruddy Porsche. I've heard that he's now got a Lambo, but anyway, I don't know why he's sitting in front of a cruddy Porsche. So that was him. But if you go in here, you can actually find this sponsored article. Now, this sponsored article was actually removed. And we wrote to the people who published it, because when you read through this article of Stephen Davis, you would think that he had been interviewed by a reporter, but he hadn't been interviewed by a reporter. He literally was paid for a sponsored article. So we wrote to them and said, well, this sponsored article is a load of bullshit, and the article got removed. But yesterday, the article is back. And if you come down here, I wrote to them again, there was Steve Davis. Now, Steve Davis has been in the fire brigade for 2 decades. And he is a well-liked fireman who is a fire chief. Now, he's been responsible for a lot of good old firefighters trusting him because of their brotherhood and his alpha stuff, alpha male stuff, not alpha woman stuff. If you're a woman, they don't show much respect to women, especially if you research the Alexander brothers. Do that, please. Just get on the internet and search for Alexander brothers, and you will see that people from Goliath hang around Alexander brothers. And the Alexander brothers, if you don't know, they've had 30 women who've come forward over the last 10 years, said they were drugged and raped by these men. These same type of people are associating with people who associate with other people in Goliath Ventures. And this alpha talk that they give people in the brotherhood is very male-dominated. So I'll leave it to your imagination. I don't need to do it. But anyway, we went through and we wrote to the editors of this article yesterday once again. And I carbon copied Stephen into it. Haven't heard anything back from him. He's promoting his book. If you go to his book, you'll see that 7 people left reviews. 2 of them are 1-star reviews. He's not got much traction, but if you see him on a stage somewhere one day, he'll probably tell you that he's got an Amazon bestseller. It's all full of bullshit. But if you come down to the bottom of this article, you can actually see that the market insiders and business insider editorial teams were not involved in the creation of this post. So he's paid for this advertising. Quite normal for scammers to do that, and he is definitely a scammer. Anyway, I went through that one and we brought that out in the blog. Okay, so then the next one was payouts stopped. Now, we thought that payouts had stopped in November, but we actually heard they actually stopped in October. Now, I don't know the months of the year, so I don't know if October's before November. I think it is. So the payouts had actually stopped for selected people in October and then November. And then when we heard that some people had been paid and they were ordered to pay their downlines to keep the farm happy. So to calm the farm, people that were getting paid dividends were told to pay their downlines with the dividends. Now, a lot of people have racked up a lot of lifestyle expenses and they are desperately trying to keep it together. That's why this is a very critical blog and a very critical video. Now, I didn't really feel like doing another video because I did one yesterday, but this one's really important because I believe that the Titanic will be underwater in the next 48, after the 18th of December. What excuse are they going to use? Now, something that may alarm you, we did talk about Andrew Tate. Now, Andrew Tate, would you believe, is on, he's all over the internet. We've got a video of Tomo, Christopher, and Michael, I can never get his name wrong, ski, on 3 yachts, 50 men. And they were there. Now, Tomo claims that he's one of the public speakers for Andrew Tate. Now, if you go in here and you read about hyperliquid, now, and you also want to read about what leverage trading is, Andrew Tate does this thing where he bets on crypto going up or crypto going down. And it would be more than likely that Christopher could have been doing the same type of trading with your money, not having it secured at 115% as Matt Burke said he did, but he could have been using your money to copycat trade what Andrew Tate has been doing. Now, if you don't know what that's all about, go in here and read this article. You've got a lot of research to do, and I'll keep you busy because I've been busy. But Andrew Tate, his story about Hyperliquid and how he lost $1 million within a short period of time. If Christopher was doing the same type of trading, believing that Andrew Tate had a magic wand when it came to doing crypto trading, that might be why everyone's funds have ceased in October, November, and no proof of December. That even rhymes. So imagine that. So go and have a read about that. Now that is just speculation. I've got no proof of it. However, if you read it and you see these guys all hanging out together, the chances of that actually happening are very, very high. And one day people might say, hey, that Danny DeHitt guy really knew his shit. And I'll be going, well, I've got a team of Avengers that help me with this stuff. And people might go, oh, Danny just uses AI. I do. And I use AI to the inch of its life. You would be amazed what I can actually get AI to research. It is so good. I can get the transcript out of a video, put it into AI and tell it to cross-reference it with something I've done 2 months ago, and it will find the inconsistencies with a false claim. It's like the perfect lie detector, which is really, really cool. All right, so that was good. So then I asked you to look at Andrew Tate. The next one was we talked about Jonathan Manson and how we believe that they're now targeting Canadians. And if there's quite a few Canadian investors and people who are influencers that we believe are now pitching Goliath investments at 8% return. So that we did a blog about that, and the reason they're doing that, please, please, please wake up, is because they're offering 8% return. It's too good to be true, and it is too good to be true, so that they can get the money to pay the investors, keep the illusion going. It's really that simple. And of course, Tomo Marjanovic, I can't even say his name, this post, his Brotherhood post, was the last one that we looked at. So if you don't know about me and my Avengers, we use open source intelligence to research everything that we're doing. Publicly available records, archive web pages, corporate filings, domain data, social media activities, and open blockchain transactions. No private data. We don't hack people's computers. Unlawful access methods were used in everything we research. We use OSINT. It's a powerful and ethical tool for exposing scams without violating any privacy laws or overstepping any legal boundaries. So we get threats from lawyers quite often, and they're just threats backed up by, we're going to do this if you do that. But they don't have any clout on us, and that's why we survive. This year, I had 5 lawsuits. I haven't lost any of them. I did have a big lawsuit 2.5 years ago. It was for $3.85 million by a guy called Stephen, who's just surfaced after hiding for 2 years, and he's starting to promote another Ponzi scheme and scam. It's incredible. However, he was ordered to pay $27,500. You can read about it on my Wikipedia page. And honestly, these guys will try anything to keep face. But if they only answered the questions that I asked them originally, it could have saved a whole lot of embarrassment. But the truth, you know the truth, because they can't answer those questions because they are scamming people. There's no crypto trading. There's no crypto mining. You know what a crypto mine is? All these computers lined up, and they all mine for crypto. He's claiming that's where he's making his money. You think one simple photo of his crypto mines would calm the farm. And he's claiming they make their money by doing liquidity trading, pancake swaps. It's like arbitrage trading. You take a little bit from here. If you trade it from here to here, and the bit in the middle, you make a little bit of a profit. It's a real thing. But mathematically, it can't return the amount of money they're claiming that they are paying people out. And they definitely, the kicker of all these things I've been talking about, they tell people that their investment is insured. Unheard of. Too good to be true. Look, if you want to know more, about me, go to my website. If you want to support me, I really do value donations. I've made about $75 in the last 10 days. So it's not here for the money. I do get a little bit of money from my YouTube videos. Last month I got 360 New Zealand dollars, which is about 210 American, roughly, give or take. Not much money. I don't do it for the money. I do it because I was brought up in a religious cult and I got sick of people lying to me and telling me things that doesn't happen. These platforms that you see here are all the same. They will sit here and they will use techniques like Tomo has. They will use persuasive techniques. They will abuse you. They will use psychological manipulation. They will tell you things that your subconscious mind picks up. You will live out of fear. Look, I can give you some fantastic guidance. I don't care if Christopher Del Argo wants to ring me up and have a chat about the mistakes that he's made and the shit he's got himself into. I am open to it. Before I started this video, I put a message in the chat room. It says, Tomo, join Danny DeHeck on stage. Now, this guy wasn't a coward and he was a real man. He would take one for the team. Why don't these guys want to speak to me on camera? There's a challenge for you. Anyone who works at Goliath, I challenge you to a one-on-one interview with Danny DeHeck. Now, we don't take you seriously. Well, I think I've caused a lot of damage in the company. You know, not intentionally. Well, I'm not trying to ruin a company. I'm here trying to save mum and dad investments from losing their money. I don't want to have people ring up and say, oh, my father, and this is seriously what happens on just about a daily basis. My dad's 70 years of age. He took out all his pension money and put it into Goliath Ventures. You bastards, you took money from an old man. And because his sons said it's a sure thing, because this guy that got fired from In-N-Out Burgers all of a sudden tells you that he likes crypto and you don't know how to do your research, and he's invested in crypto at an early stage, had 2 companies that he publicly listed that made a whole lot of money, and he invested it in his own company, and then decided that investing money in his own company was making him so much money that he would share it around his friends and family quietly. Now he's forcing people. In the video that we did last night that we released, in that video, he tells people that they have to sign NDAs. You know what that means? That means if you invest in my company, you have to agree not to say anything. Now, there's one guy that's speaking at the moment, and I see that they're going after him. They're doing that for intimidation. He'll be fine because Christopher, Tomo, Steve, Alex, can't remember all the other names, but all the people in the inner circles, they will be in handcuffs in the not too distant future. Remember, I'm a disruptor. I'm a whistleblower. I want to create awareness, but I've also got a massive database with screenshots, contracts, linking one person to another, and all that information is openly available to the government agencies that are investing with Goliath Ventures Inc. I'm Danny DeHeck. I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy your dinner!